sometimes your trades are going to be victims to something called circumstance. All right, guys. So very quickly, this is a very short video. I'm going to discuss a loss that I would have taken on AUD NZD earlier this week. Even though I was absolutely correct about the direction, doesn't mean you're always going to get the trade itself correct or the entry. And I'm going to tell you right here and now, I entered a little higher than I was supposed to. And it happens. You're going to get that sometimes. Again, I was absolutely correct. I'm still correct. AUD NZD is still buying like I said it would. I did say potential buys or possible buys on AUD NZD, and I'll go into why shortly. But lo and behold, I entered due to how the candle closed. I entered higher than I was supposed to enter, and my 10 pip stop loss actually ended up taking me out because on my broker, it wicked me out. Now, my reason for entering for buys or looking for buys in the first place is anybody who knows me knows that my system is called the ECR, right? ECR stands for exponential moving average crossover and retest system, right? And it follows two very important rules. And if you don't follow these rules, obviously the system won't work. And the first rule goes along the lines of do not go against the momentum unless a reversal is absolutely clear. The second rule is if a reversal is clear, the best possible reversal happens, the best possible ECR happens after a reversal, right? And in this case, you have to really sit down and look at it, right? So let's use the replay function very quickly so that we can get a general idea as to what's going on. So right here, I am anticipating maybe, just maybe, the dealer, which is the person who's in control of the market, to try to bring the market back to this area. Because if the market has to reverse, typically what I'm going to look for is a double top or double bottom. If I don't see either a double top or in this case, a double top, and if it's a downtrend, a double bottom, I'm going to anticipate and operate in the manner that the market is not ready to reverse, right? So I am looking at it that a reversal in this case is not absolutely clear. Therefore, we stick to rule number one. Do not go against the momentum because a reversal is not absolutely clear. So you can see that, you know, AUD-NZ does decide to come down and do all what it has to do, right? But it actually decides to follow this major trend here. And all this time, and let me zoom into this, you can see that there's nothing really telling me as of yet that it wants to reverse downward because it didn't break this trend, right? It didn't break this trend. Now, remember, we do not go against the momentum unless a reversal is clear. So right off of the bat, now we see that it's respecting this trend. We also see that it's coming back into bullish momentum, right? Coming back into bullish momentum, and it looks like the moving averages are going to cross upward. So let's see what happens. Boom, exactly, so said, so done. Now, this would have happened on, just a minute. Right, so this would have happened on the previous day, which is the end of the first day, right? The end of the trading day. So I wouldn't trade here because obviously the market is going to close just now. And you can see that by this period break here, right? So which means if I were to place a buy here, right at this point, I am running the risk of the trade taking me out just by virtue of the spread. So I'm going to wait for the Asian session to open, wait for the market to open, and wait for Asian to open so that I could actually take the trade safely. And so then it crosses up. I disregard that because like I said, I cannot take it before the market closes. And then it crosses back down. So I'm no longer interested in buys because it crosses back down. But then it crosses back up again. Realistically, where I was supposed to enter was actually right on this red candle here, right here. This is where I was supposed to enter. But I ended up entering 1 or like 15 minutes too late because I think I was preoccupied doing something. And it was a trade that I definitely was not supposed to take, right? And obviously I paid the price for it. So I ended up entering here. And yeah, basically speaking, you could see that it gave me some drawdown. Drawdown there. It tried to come back into profit and it failed. It tried again to give me a little thing and come back out. And eventually, what ended up happening is one of these, I think, yeah, this move is what took me out, right? Now I could have re-entered right here because then you have another ECR right here. I could have re-entered, but the problem with this is I would have been already sleeping, right? This is Asian session. This is probably around this time is probably around 9, 10, maybe even 11 o'clock by me, right? So for me, I would not have been, I would not have been awake. But as you can see, I was taken out, and as you can see, it did go over 40 pips in my favor, right? And it's still in my favor to this date, to current time, present time, right? And I'm just doing this, this short video to show you that even though I could be right about the direction, I can still get analysis wrong. And the important thing with that, or the important thing to remember, is that sometimes your trades are going to be victims to something called circumstance, meaning no setup is perfect and you can do everything in your power to win the trade. Sometimes it just happens. It's not in the cards for you to win the trade, right? Maybe it's a lesson being taught to you. Maybe it's something to let you know that there's a weakness somewhere in your system, right? I don't think this is a weakness in my system. It just so happened that I realistically was not supposed to enter on the candle that I entered on. Because if I entered on the candle that I was supposed to enter on, which would have been the candle prior to this one, which is this red candle, you'd see I'd get a little bit of drawdown, but I'd still be in the trade and it'll be plus 40 pips it would have gone, right? So that's that. That's just a brief insight into one of the trades that I would have lost. The next one that I would have lost would have been GJ, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not going to go in depth on that one just yet, right? Other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this. You learn from it. It's always nice to talk about when something doesn't go your way. In the industry that we reside in the industry that we work in, this trading industry, not many people are transparent enough to talk about when they don't necessarily win a trade. Everybody wants to show you how much money they're making, but nobody wants to talk about, when they don't make or when they actually lose. The good thing is, when I lose, I only lose 10. But if I win, you can see the potential that I have here. And this is a joke in terms of what I can make, right? So if it is you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, or you can contact me directly at Ikata Trading on Telegram, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, right? Hit like on the video if it is you like this and you like the transparency, and comment below if it is you think you would have entered on this trade in the same direction. Other than that, see you in the next one.